question everything, for the truth should not be televised. And that's for sure. So with that, you know, when it comes to hip hop, you know, especially those that remember when it was coming out and how it was being formed into a cultural movement of rebelling against the system, a cultural movement that actually showed and shined a light on how you had to survive in the ghetto slums and hoods and what that meant in order to survive dealing with the system, you know, fighting the power that be, the powers that manipulated and controlled the resources and economic growth in our community, and how we wasn't getting none, and how unification and respecting one another and coming together as my brothers keeper, my peoples, was an upliftment and a movement for our people to come back together to be able to unify against what was happening to us in our communities based off of the system manipulating through that the pen is mightier than the sword type of movement, based off of them lyrics being dropped on the paper to be able to spit that back out to allow the other, how you say, the other nations and the other barrels of our people to know exactly what we was going through. Hip hop was the greatest. It came through and really united us and moved and real swiftly throughout the communities to where now it's nationwide and global. But at the end of the day, I remember when Nas said hip hop's dead, and I was like, yo, that's deep. How hip hop dead? But then when you look at the reality and the course of hip hop and where it was moving, it got derailed. Why? Because you had people that were sitting in studios that controlled the studios, the colonizers, who were saying that the music was too upright in their face, to where it made them feel a certain type of way based off of the lyrics that was being spit, based off of fighting that power and bringing unity to our people. So in turn, they changed the sound, they changed the polarity into from what it was with the gangster rap, from the poor righteous teachers to the dead presidents to you know what I mean, Grand Pooba, we had all sorts of conscious rappers and fun rappers too. They switched all that and brought it into a gangster rap culture, which became a death culture on our people, to where now gangster rap them fueled the drug game as well as fueled mass incarceration on purpose, manipulated to our children and our youth to be able to hear this ratchet music that brings us into a degenerate behavior, and then they capitalize off of it by mass incarcerating our people, keeping our people divided and against each other, banging on each other. That was the whole movement and the agenda that came after hip hop had died. And now here we are coming out of that degeneracy when it comes to what it is to be under the gangster rap culture and the destruction of what it has brought to our people, and that death culture that we all fell under based off of gangster rap culture. Now we going into the freak off culture. And here we are in this freak off environment and polarity that was ushered in based off of those that control and manipulate the sound and the political outlook of what it means to deal under the terms of rap that used to be hip hop. And today, now we see the freak off done popped off and done made the faces and those who brought hip hop into the light of what it means to be a part of our culture. Now it done became the face of freak off and the freak of degeneracy and the face of pervertedness. And the key is, where do we go now? Is our culture totally abolished when it comes to dealing with the hip hop movement, the rap movement? Is that something now that is going to be looked upon in a ratchet, degenerate, perverted light? Well, this is what happens when you don't control your political outlook or your economic outlook of your own people. Thus, other nations who control the wealth get to manipulate your sound, get to manipulate your culture, get to manipulate it into a place that they see you as instead of how you see yourself as. And in turn, this is the play out to what has happened to what we brought to the world, and that's hip hop. It's a sad situation, it's a sad reality, but this is where we at today, with Puffy going down and many others being implemented in it to this sick, twisted reality. You had Hassan Campbell implement African Bambaataa, a few years ago, and it just did a whole spiral, man. We done lost Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Prince, Pod. oh, you name it, old dirty bastards. It goes on and on and on, man. But at the end of the day, it shows us openly and strongly that when you don't control your own culture and it's up for sale and up for grabs for all other nations to be controlled and manipulated, then they can control and manipulate it into their narrative of what they see fit when it comes to dealing in your own culture. And in turn, you lose your culture and you end up with something that somebody else from a different nation done wrote into your existence to ride you into a situation that you may not want to be in. And right now we see that situation that none of us want to be in, and nor do we want our face on that imagery of what's going on when it comes to what has happened with hip-hop. Because today is looked at as a great big freak off and a great big weirdo connection of wealthy movement that it wasn't like that, man. It wasn't never set up to be like that. And in turn, it done brought more strife and more grief to our people in a sense of what it started off as to what it is now. And that's just a sad statement, man. But this is the reality, to take in the bag from a nation who's gonna orchestrate and manipulate your own culture back to your people. And in turn, you get what they see, you get what they are into, you get what they are being about behind the scenes, behind the cameras, behind the curtains when the curtains fall. And in turn, whatever's going on behind the curtains eventually spills out to the showroom floor. And this is what we got today. And it's a sad statement, but at the end of the day, R. Kelly and all these dudes that's going down, it really shows the real reality of what it means to not have no political power, no political say over your own reality when you trapped inside of a nation, within a nation, under a nation, being crushed by their God. And with that, I just don't get it. I just don't understand it. But that is the question. You let me know. Peace, peace.